everybody. I am Alisha Siddhartha, Senior Marketing Manager for Clovity, and welcome to Conversations for Change, our new interactive session on DEI, streaming straight from our company's page. We are really excited and proud to be a minority-owned business in the US, driving positive change in the economy. Today, we delve into the personal and professional side of DEI with Bhawna Vats, our Senior Director, DEI Engagement and Partnerships. So let's start by understanding her journey and how it has fueled her passion for DEI. Hi, Bhavna, how have you been?
Hey, Alisha. Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me over to discuss my personal and professional journey and how I see the whole DEI revolution.
Great, great. So, Bhavna, could you please share your earliest experience with diversity and how it kind of shaped your views around it?
Sure, absolutely. As growing up in a diverse community in India, it taught me early on about the richness of different cultures that they bring to our lives. It was the challenges and things in our everyday lives faced by myself and my friends from different backgrounds and ethnicities that opened my eyes to the inequalities in our society. We see it every day around us without even realizing it sometimes. But that kind of shaped my commitment to equality, diversity, inclusion, and equal footing for all.
Great, great. And is there a pivotal moment in your personal life that made you actively pursue DEI in your career?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the whole process of my really seeing that spark in me was during my college years. So I had gone from my home city to the capital of India, which is Delhi, and that is where you have people coming from all parts of the country, and that is where I witnessed a close friend face blatant discrimination due to her background, because she came from a small village, and she wasn't really included in most of the good stuff, all the societies where all the activities happen. That is where I see that the biggest part of it was that it was very subtle. So, a word here and there, things that are really unspoken, but by the behavior, they show you that you're not a part of something. You're not being included in a certain society or, college activities. So, it had nothing to do with her behavior, her intelligence or skills. It came purely based off her background and because of the way she looked, which kind of took an emotional toll on her, and that kind of reignited my resolve to make environments around and my workplaces more inclusive, and where everyone really feels valued, irrespective of their background.
Great.
Yes.
And I absolutely agree with you, Bhavna, that when you mentioned that things are, it's usually the signs are really subtle. And having, of course, when I graduated and I was in college, we experienced a lot of things in our day-to-day
Absolutely.
lives. And one of the biggest parts that why people, behave in a certain manner is, I feel, because they are not aware, and they're yet to see a lot of things, they're yet to get enlightened.
True.
Like when you mentioned that this kind of ignited your passion towards DEI. So I think it just needs a lot of awareness around it, which I'm really glad that today in the age of technology we have all of these platforms where we can learn and kind of distribute this knowledge about inclusivity and different backgrounds and all of those things. So great. Moving on, can you share an instance where your advocacy for DEI made a tangible difference?
Certainly. I think it was during one of the roles, one of my corporate roles, that one of the initiatives I led focused on the mentorship programs for underrepresented minorities in our organization. Seeing those individuals really thrive and move into leadership roles was a profound moment. How it showcases the impact of equitable support and opportunities, that if an individual gets those, how they can really shine in whatever they do. And that was really, really valuable to me.
I agree. And with all of this, Bhavna, I'm sure that there's a lot of resistance or flack that, sometimes people receive towards initiatives and, DAI
Absolutely.
initiatives included. So can you tell me how you handle such instances or resistance towards your initiatives?
Absolutely. My approach is rooted in empathy and education, because I feel to create any big impact or to create any sort of bigger change, you really need to go deep down in the roots and understand where people are coming from, pretty much their psychology and towards that particular subject. So I try to understand the perspectives of skeptics and introduce them to the data and the personal stories that highlight the benefits of DEI. Because I think everything that is backed by data and real instances which have led to success really inspire people to create change. It's about creating a dialogue and showcasing the value of DEI that adds, value to our company and society at large. If you were to say that it starts in your personal lives, that is really the crux of it, because you cannot say that you will practice DEI at workplace, but not in your personal journey, in your personal life. So I feel it starts with telling your children and your friends to look beyond those, those smaller things of beyond the color of the people, their skin, the language, food habits, all of that, and you have to move beyond those boundaries, I would say. And I'm so glad that both my children have friends from all ethnicities, and we have never forced them to be with a certain set of people. They're free to experience, they're free to they really understand the cultures of different ethnicities and still not be judgmental about it, is how I see that people can really start DEI in the environments that they live in, and then it moves on to the workplace. And this is basically going to the same fact that there's a social media problem, right? Where we see something we don't agree with, and we start to criticize on and start commenting. That is where I think half the problems in the world are. What you really need to do is understand the cultures, really rejoice the differences for what they bring to the table, and not being judgmental about it, but really making it a part of you and going ahead with it, and still not you can still have an identity, but rejoicing the differences in others is how I see it. And so I feel that when it becomes a personal habit is when if 100 or 1,000 people in your company start with that personal change, it becomes a company culture. When so many people in the country change, it becomes a country culture. And when all the individuals on our mother earth really change in that direction, is when things change, is when the world changes. So it all definitely just starts with you first.
Absolutely, one step at a time. And I absolutely love the fact that you said that your children have friends from all ethnicities. And it's kind of safe to say that because you are the advocate for DEI, not just at your workplace at Clovity, but also in your personal life. So it's safe to say that they learn a lot from you. And it's great to hear that, you are on your end, you're making these changes. And we hope that, we continue to do so. All right. Moving on, do you have any advice to individuals who are looking to start their journey in DEI advocacy?
Yes. So, I first off, I would also like to say that no amount of company DEI policies or, EO offices can really change the culture if people at the core are not willing to change. So it all starts with with that particular thing, where in my humble opinion, I have always believed that perspectives change narratives. So it can't be just a fancy buzzword and nothing changes on the ground. So what you have to go to the people and really ask them to start with is tell them that you need to be educated. You need to start with that self reflection, and understand the biases where you're coming from. Why do you carry those biases? And you need to actively seek out resources and communities that challenge and broaden your perspectives. You need to come out of that hole and really see the big picture. Is only when you can change your perspectives and you can then change your narrative. So those small actionable steps, whether in your personal circles or workplaces, you advocate for a change by starting with self-reflection, and then you go from there and discuss with other people what can be done about it.
Right, wonderful. And now that we've discussed your personal side of things, can we now quickly move on to talk about the kind of steps Clovity is taking for advocating D&I in our workplace?
Absolutely. As a woman and a minority, with my heritage being from Asia Pacific, I come from India, and also our owner is, Clovity's owner is also an Asian Pacific individual. We all take a DI very seriously, and we have a long-standing commitment here at Clovity towards making DI an absolute priority. I mean, there is no question about it. So we make diversity, efforts towards diversity more embedded in our DNA. That's how we see it, from employment to management to sourcing and recruiting, because recruiting is a big part of our business. Our internal program and managers basically set out expectations with the recruiting team to use diversity when it comes to finding talent and resources and bringing people on board, which have, there are more colors to it. There's more diversity, because that's how companies grow. It is backed by data. These recruitment efforts have yielded a great jump in diverse candidates being onboarded, being hired in the past 3 years. Clovity has focused on diversity in pretty much two main areas: increasing the size of our contractor candidate pool, and second is basically nurturing other diversity organizations, which are our subcontractors, through initiatives like, one of them I would like to talk about is vendor CCC is what we call it. CCC is Connect, Collaborate and Cultivate program. And the program really works with the subcontractors to identify, qualify, and develop diverse suppliers, supporting our end client goal, while providing a wider breadth of services and skill sets.
That's great to hear, Bhavna. And your insights today have not only educated us, and they've also inspired us, especially me. And they definitely push us to reflect on our roles in creating an inclusive environment, both on our personal side and also in our workplaces. So thank you so much for sharing your journey and your steps towards achieving a more equitable society. To our audience, we hope this session leaves you motivated to engage in DEI in your own unique ways. I definitely will. And as a minority owned business committed to change, Clovity looks forward to furthering these conversations. So please stay tuned for our next session with Bhawna Vats. And thank you for joining us for Conversations for Change.
Thank you, Alisha. Thank you, everyone. Here's to change.